Hi, friends. I'm sorry, I have kind of forgotten to read a chapter of Cat vs. Dog the last couple of days, but we are here in our living room, and Joe brought a special friend. What's your friend's name, Joe?
Hank.
Hank. This is Hank the dog. And
Brewers.
he's a brewer's dog, and we are having lots of fun pretending that Hank is asking Joe lots of questions, and Joe's explaining the way the world works, because he's a smart kid. Yeah. Okay. Oh, room 251. Look what I found when I was cleaning up. It's my Black Lives Matter necklace.
And also, I found
Okay.
this one in my fort.
Oh, he's going to show you he found a Matchbox car in his fort. Okay.
This is my favorite.
Okay, now I've got to read though, okay, Joe? Chapter 28. Oscar couldn't stop gaping at the dog cat. His mouth hung open. Stringy drool dribbled out. "What are you gawking at, young'un?" said the dog cat, sounding like somebody's grumpy grandmother who doesn't like it when you pee on her sofa. "Sorry," said Oscar. "Didn't mean to be rude. It's just that I've never seen a creature that was half cat and half dog." "Me neither," added Molly. "Not even in a monster movie." The granny grinned. "We are rare indeed. Even here in this magical park. Reckon there's only a half dozen of us left." Oscar and Molly just nodded. They didn't want the old dog cat to know how much she was creeping them out. "You say you're lost?" Oscar and Molly nodded some more. They also tried to smile. "And hungry?" They nodded one more time. They did not, however, move any closer to the weird creature from the cornfield. She walked on her 2 legs, but she wasn't wearing any clothes, which meant she was wild. But usually wild meant really mean and hoping to eat you, like the mountain lion. Why was she being so nice? "Well, come along then," she said. "You 2 can spend the night in my cabin. I'll fix you something to eat." "Eat?" Oscar gulped. What if the freaky freak was also part mountain lion? "Don't worry, dog," the old creature laughed, as if she could read Oscar's mind. "I ain't gonna eat you or your cat friend. How could I? Why, you 2 remind me of my great-great-grandparents." We're not really friends," mumbled Oscar. We just called a temporary truce," added Molly. "Friendship's not really in the cards for us." "We're sworn enemies," said Oscar. "More's the shame," sighed the elderly dog cat. "I wish I could get you home myself, but these bones are too old for the journey. Just keep your noses pointed to Crooked Nose Mountain. Come on, shake a tail feather. I've got supper on the stove. I like to eat late at night. Reckon it's the cat in me." She led them down the road to her cabin. Oscar could smell the odors of something foul wafting on the breeze. "I didn't know wild animals lived in houses," Molly said. "I reckon there's a lot you civilized folk don't know about us wild ones," said the dog cat. "Here, now I fixed up a fish stew." Oscar whimpered. "Don't worry," said the dog cat. "It's catfish." Oscar wagged his tail slightly. "Catfish might be okay, especially if you're starving." They sat down to supper and buried their faces in their bowls. And then here's a picture. It says, "Best part of being a dog? You never need a knife, fork, spoon, or napkin." Can you see the picture? Oscar loved the stew. "This fish is delish," he said, his tail thumping against the leg of his stool. "An old family recipe," said the granny. "So, what are your names?" "I'm Oscar." "Molly." "You 2 can call me Granny," said the wrinkled dog cat. "Most everybody in these parts does." "So, how'd you become you?" asked Oscar. "Well, according to my parents, who heard the story from their parents, my great-great-grandfather and great-great-grandmother were a dog and cat just like you 2. They got lost in the wilderness, just like you 2. They had a lot of close scrapes and angry words, but eventually they realized that the only way the 2 of them could survive out here on the far edge of civilization was to work together. Just like the hawk owl, said Molly. Who? Said Granny. She's the head ranger down at the Western Frontier Park, explained Oscar. She's weird too, just like you. Granny smiled. I like you, Oscar. You say what's on your mind without giving it a second thought. He's a dog, said Molly. They're not big on thoughts, first or second ones. If you ask me, said Oscar, you combo critters are super cool. Hawk owls, dog cats. I bet you can run great distances and be sneaky at the same time. Granny chuckled. Yes, I could, when I was younger anyways. It's like you have superpowers, just like superheroes in comic books. The wise old dog cat shook her head. Not all of us, Oscar. Some combo critters, as you call them, are super evil super villains. Oscar gulped again. Which ones? Beware of the weasel boars. Dun dun dun. So that was chapter 28. What do you think the weasel boars are going to be like, and when are they going to meet them? What do you think? Do you have any ideas? You just want to play with your Matchbox van? Yeah.
It's not a Matchbox van. It's a Matchbox car that looks like a van.
It's a Matchbox car that looks like a van. Silly me. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today. Thank you guys for taking care of your community by staying home.
Bye.
And here's Hank the dog again to say bye. Bye, guys.
Boy.